fellow crafters, Janine here, and welcome to my craft room tour. I know I've been promising you guys this video for a very long time, and I am so sorry it's taken me so long to deliver. But I had some problems, some issues getting this video together for you. My craft supplies were basically located all over my house. There were craft supplies in my kitchen, on top of kitchen shelves. There were craft supplies and shift robe in my hallway. My craft supplies were literally all over the house. And then after my oldest son got married and moved out, my husband and I found ourselves with a lot more room in the house that we could do different things with. So he's now got his kind of own room where he keeps all of his stuff stored and handy, and now I've got my craft room where all of my stuff gets to be stored and be handy for me. So we both share a guest room, you know, in our space. So we did have to work around the fact that we did have, you know, a bedroom that it gets utilized occasionally with the things that we have in it. So as you're going to see, it took a lot of doing and a lot of creative storage solutions to be able to get all of my things put away in a neat and organized sort of way, but that are still handy for me and still allows the room to function as a guest room. So a lot of my storage is DIY. It is cost effective, it is economical, it is not IKEA cute, it does not look like it came out of a magazine, but it works for me and it functions well for me and I'm happy with it. So I hope that you enjoy this craft room tour. I hope that you get some inspirations and some ideas from it, and let's get started. Okay, when you first walk into the door of my craft room, you walk in from the hallway, and this is what you see is my desk area, and you can see there to the right is our home office that we set up, which is basically just a computer, and it also functions as my YouTube computer because this is where I sit and edit videos after I'm done filming. And as you pan around and look to the left is where the rest of my craft room storage is located. And we're going to go up and take a closer look at it. I'm just wanting to give you an overview right now. So both of those containers over there contain crafting items, those set of plastic drawers, and that's a set of milk crates that repurposed for storage. And then that is an antique chifforobe, and it is also full of crafting items. And then the rest of the room functions as a guest room. So there's the guest room bed and nightstand and so forth. So that is a 360-degree look at this room, and then we're back to the door that goes to the hallway. So that's the door you come in. And this is my home office slash craft room slash guest room. It is truly a space that functions in many different ways. And also, unfortunately, in this room is the air conditioner return, so sometimes that's what you hear running in my videos. I do live in Southwest Louisiana, so I know you guys are saying, well, just turn the air conditioner off while you're filming, but again, I live in Southwest Louisiana, and in the warmer months it is like Satan's sauna down here, so I apologize, but the air conditioner is necessary. But this is the 360, so I'm going to pause while I take you in closer and we look at the finer details of my storage solutions and what I've got going on in here. Okay, on this side of my desk and in that back corner there, you can see that's my laminator, and I use it for actually laminating purposes, and I also use it for foiling also. I don't do a lot of it that way anymore because running black toner sheets at the office and bringing them home and then trying to die cut them or otherwise, anyway, it just ends up being a mess. I have found that using adhesive sheets and die cutting to be an easier way, and this is the storage that you saw on the corner of my desk, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little bit better and we can discuss what's up there. So at the very top, because I like to keep these things out of the reach of the little ones, because one is dangerous and the other is my watercolor paints, which there are, I do have a cadmium in there that could be harmful to them, but mostly it's just because I just don't want the mess. And then underneath my watercolor palette is my watercolor boards and such to go with that. And then in that cubby I have some the stackable glitters that I bought, hand sanitizer that I use to clean my stamps off. I have one of my larger stamping block up there, some of my art supplies, sponges and whatnot, roll of tape, a pad for keeping notes about different things on my videos. And then on that side is my Stampin Up Stamps, and I love that they come in these storage cases, because then I can just stack them up in a situation like this. So that is my Stampin Up stamps right there. Oh, I'm sorry. Right there is all of my embossing folders, and then that's some small wood mount rubber stamps that I bought from Walmart. That's all of my watercolor supplies. So I keep clean, fresh jugs of water on hand all the time. My mister bottle, my brushes are back there, my color wheel, graphite for tracing, roll of paper towels, and baby wipes, so that I have no excuse. If I feel like I want to paint, then all of my painting supplies are ready to go. The palette is right there, my brushes, water, everything is ready to go. All I have to do is sit down and get started. And then because that is so heavy, my Evolution, I keep it on a level with me so that it's easy to pull out and use. So again, it leaves me with no excuses not to use it. And then that little basket is one that my son made for me several years ago. So I keep my pencils, a small notepad, and stuff like that in it. And then when you come around, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And that lamp, that's one of the lamps I use when filming. It is an antique milk glass lamp, but I like it because I put a daylight bulb in it, so it's very, very bright, but then you have that milk glass that kind of diffuses the light, and so it's really perfect for filming. And this is my filming area. Again, I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. So this is my filming area. And you can see I have a weird little setup there, because all I have for that camera is just, I do have the large tripod, which is what my camera is on now, but it's too big for that little camera. It makes it sit up too high. So I have that little tripod, then I have it propped up on, again, a little basket that my son made. I just have it turned upside down. And then you can see I have a mirror back there so that I can see, you know, if I'm in view in the camera or if I'm not, because I'm just now starting to play around with using two cameras when filming, particularly when painting. So I'm going to try and have a palette cam and then a cam on my painting, and I might bring in my cell phone for a third camera to have on me, so that when I talk you can actually see me talking into the camera. And that up there, let me get up there, that is the solution my husband came up with for me to have my camera overhead while I'm filming, so that the way I started out was it was on the tripod pointed down, but I really did not like the way that came out looking in video. When I flipped the video over, it looked like a really strange, odd angle, and I didn't like it. I really wanted to have that straight down shot. So what he did, this man is so clever, let me zoom in for you, he put a hinge on the window frame and then attached an L bracket to it, so that allowed me to be able to swing my camera from side to side. And on that L bracket he screwed on a piece of wood, and then at the end of that he put a screw in the end of the piece of wood that fits the screw hole perfectly on my camera. So I screwed my camera on and then point it directly down at my desk, and I can swing it from side to side if I need to. And sometimes I do, because sometimes I have so much stuff on my desk when I'm filming, because what I try to do when I'm filming is to pull everything that I'm going to use for that video to have it right handy on my desktop. So sometimes my desktop is quite full of stuff, and I do need to swing that camera from side to side to be able to get what I'm working on in the view shot. And so I'm going to pause again while I move the camera so I can show you what's in my desk. Okay, in this top desk drawer is all of my most frequently used adhesives. I have my rolls of score tape, I have bottles of like glossy accents, I'm sorry, down here, and then my fine tip glue applicator, some glue sticks, my masking fluid. I have the dimensional adhesive that I use here, tape runners, masking tape for watercoloring. I have all of my embossing powders and embossing buddy right there, and then my embossing heat gun right here. Again, more different types of adhesive, glue dots, fun foam that I've already die cut for other projects that I use for dimensionals, little mounting tape, and then my tape gun. And then back there is like leftover bits and pieces of different projects that I save, because a lot of times I reach into that box and pull stuff out to use on another project. So I try to keep some of those little pieces that I really liked handy, and of course my tape gun. So that's what's in the first drawer, all my adhesives, because I don't think I use anything as much as I use adhesive. Okay, second drawer is mostly what I would call art supplies. I do have in the top of it here, like that's a bit of cut up credit card, so I use that in watercoloring for scraping in lines, erasers, some drawing tools, rulers. That's an adhesive pickup. Then when you slide that over is all of my scissors, my paint swatches from my Kirtaki set. My rulers are down there. Let's have some chalk here, a measuring tape. This is just a cheap dollar store brush for, like, I use to like clean off eraser shavings and whatnot. It has some colored pencils there for drawing in pictures. This is my Kirtaki paint set. My Cricut Tool Kit, and in the very back is a stack of fun foam, because you've seen me use that quite a bit. And then I have a square ruler there, which helps me to get really nice sharp square boxes, and helps me like with lining up wood mount rubber stamps. You know, I use it like you would use a Stamp-A-Ma-Jig. Basically is how I use my L square ruler. Square ruler, I don't know what you call it exactly, but some people use a T-square. This is what I use because it was only $3 at Harbor Freight, so it was cheap, and I like cheap. Then my colored pencils are down here, my little makeshift watercolor palette that I use, which is just a white piece of paper, laminated. That's in there. And then some watercolor pencils and some more of my Cricut tools. My Cricut mats are down at the bottom. So that's what's in that drawer. Bottom drawer is no surprise, it's paper. But this is one of the things that I didn't want to show you guys until I had it organized better. It hasn't happened yet, and I just didn't feel like I could put you guys off any longer about this craft room tour, because you've waited patiently as it is for it. So this still has a lot of organization to go. I want to pull everything out of there except cardstock, and because I have a lot of embellishment type stuff in there. I have, you know, like stickers and sequins. There's just all kinds of stuff in there, so I want to pull everything out except cardstock and put that in its proper organizational place. And then I want to arrange my cardstock by color, by rainbow order and color. So it'll be a lot easier for me when I want to sit down and make a card to be able to see very quickly where everything is that I need to make it, because now I kind of have to hunt through all of those folders to find the different elements that I want to use. So that is fixing to be redone. Okay, this is the set of plastic drawers that you saw next to my desk. Sitting on top of it is my new ultimate tool from Crafter's Companion. I like having it handy because I am getting to where I'm using it very, very frequently in my card making. So I like having it right where I can use it and I don't have to go dig it out. I have that set of big markets there because I really have not figured out where I want to store them just yet. And then on top of that top drawer is where I keep projects in waiting. This is stuff that I'm fixing to work on and do some stuff with, so I have it handy. Because it'd be very easy for me to buy these things, put them away, and then with good intentions of using them, but then not use them. So I do like to keep projects in waiting right there, so that it's always in my face every time I walk in here, and I will sit down and create the cards or other crafts that I want to with the stuff that's sitting there. And I'll go ahead and open the top drawer. Okay, in the top drawer is smaller, looser embellishments like sequins, seed beads, small little packs of ribbons, like the little small pack of ribbon I got from Jason right here. And there's more small packs of ribbons toward the back, because I'm fixing to show you what I did with larger rolls of ribbon. And so, and then that little middle part. But anyway, this is where I'm going to really start showing you like my makeshift storage solutions. Those are just small boxes. That is a small box from a paper pumpkin kit that I just put cardboard, I just cut cardboard to the right size from that same paper pumpkin box and just taped it in to create those sections so that everything is not just flowing together in there. It's kind of kept keeping it kind of separated. So I have seed beads, sequins, and rhinestone embellishments, and then ribbons. So it keeps it kind of organized for me. And I'm sorry to jump around on you, but we're back to the desk, to those milk crates that were on the desk. First off, those 4 milk crates that I use for storage, that I just stacked, you know, one on top of the other and then next to each other, sort of kind of, because that was a dead area. That was a dead corner of my crafting desk that wasn't getting used because of how deep it was. It was just hard to get in that space to use anything. So those milk crates created storage for me in that space that was pretty much unusable. And then within that area, let me zoom back in. That box that what you see all of those Stampin' Up stamps sitting on top of is a shipping box that I cut up and again put a divider in from the same box that I cut up to create the storage area for my rubber stamps and for my embossing folders. So that was 100% free, recycled, that I used. And I'm going to go ahead and link the video here in an iCard that I showed you how I repurposed some coffee cans using this decorative polka dot tape. And then when you go down to the bottom, that baby wipe container is again one that was left over from one of my granddaughters, so I just snagged it before it went in the trash, put some of my decorative tape on it, and I refill it now with baby wipe refills. So that's some of my DIY craft storage. And then the container that my rubber stamps are in is a recycled box bottom from a Birchbox, which is a beauty monthly subscription kit. And again, I just put the decorative tape on it and made it work for my craft room. So these were all free items that I used, that I did not spend money on. And well, I mean, I guess I spent money on the Birchbox, but I didn't spend money on the shipping box, so there you go. Okay, the second drawer in my plastic drawers that are next to my desk is all of my photopolymer stamps, all of my inks, so all of my little Stampin' Spot inks, all of the pigment inks that I've bought from Walmart, my dye inks from Memento, and then I have in this box are my smaller stamping blocks, and then that little box inside of it is I have envelopes, blank envelopes, and then I also have cards that I've already made that I have on hand, so if an occasion comes up on me suddenly and I don't have the time to make a card for that specific person or occasion, then I do have some cards that are already made and ready to go. And so that is this drawer is very simple because I do a lot of card making, so I needed my card making supplies to be very simply organized and arranged so that I can get to them quickly. Okay, and this bottom drawer here is kind of still a work in progress, but I have all of my twine and my embroidery floss that I use a lot in card making. I used to do a lot of cross stitching, which I don't cross stitch anymore. Honestly, I've just lost interest in it. I've been asked several times to do more cross stitching videos, and I'm so sorry, but I really just have other crafts that I'm very involved in now, and I just don't have the time to sit and cross stitch. So I brought because I didn't even realize that I could use the embroidery floss in my card making until I got some embroidery floss in a Stampin' Up paper pumpkin kit, and I was like, I can use all that embroidery floss that's still sitting around and color coordinate it with my other card making elements. Genius! So I have all of that, like I said, on hand and ready to go again. Okay, and next to my plastic drawers was another set of milk crates, but this set of milk crates I stacked 4 on top of each other. And I just secured them with zip ties, by the way, so that I don't have to worry about, you know, one tumbling over or, you know, whatever. But anyway, so at the very top, again, is another container, a box that I had that I put my decorative tape on. And inside of it, I have like my larger containers of wet glues, hot glue, E6000, Mod Podge, that sort of thing. And then next to it is one of my recycled coffee cans that I've got my Crayola markers in. and below that is an old pencil box that I think was my oldest son's when he first went to kindergarten or something. And so I've had it that long because he is now 25. But I've got some like wet glitters in there, you know, the glitter glues and that sort of thing is in there. Then on the side, on the right side of, I've got like an old clothes hanger that I just took the cardboard, it was, you know, for hanging pants on, and I took the cardboard off and ran a string through it because these particular sets of ribbon had smaller holes, so I just ran that string through them to hold my ribbons onto the side of that. And then underneath that is one that the cardboard is still on it because the holes in that ribbon was large enough for them to pass over the cardboard. So I just hung those clothes hangers onto the side of my milk crate, and on the other side is I use the same twine and just attached a roll of paper towels, a roll of my contact paper, and a roll of my transfer tape for doing vinyl images, transferring vinyl images. And then at the top is some old artist brushes from my mom. She was an oil painter, so these are more brushes that are suited for oil and acrylic painting because they're very, very stiff. I have another little can of colored pencils, and then the larger brushes that wouldn't fit in my smaller container, and that I don't use very often, like sponge brushes and a really, really large painter's brush, you know. So those things I don't use as frequently, so that's why they're over here. And then in that milk crate, you'll see that I have stacks, so that's where my 12 by 12 paper storage is, as well as my watercolor paper, and I have some old inkjet greeting cards that I use the bases on every once in a while. But those are just priority shipping boxes that I cut the flaps off from, and because they were the right size, they were I think they're 12 by 13 size or 12 by 14, so I was able to fit my 12 by 12 papers in there. So I just stacked 4 of those shipping boxes on top of each other to stack my 12 by 12 decorative paper. And this is some decorative paper I don't use quite as frequently. It's a lot of this decorative paper is stuff I bought at Hobby Lobby off of a clearance shelf. So I use it mostly for making envelopes. But anyway, that's what's in that milk crate. And I'm sorry, there's not 4 milk crates, there's 3. And at the very bottom is some more like loose embellishment type things. So there's you saw me do a haul where I put those sequins in those little tiny containers, so that's what's there. Some empty boxes, a really large thing of fishing line that I use kind of like twine occasionally, and that's what I attach the stuff with on top of the milk crates. And then the 3 bottom containers are all beading supplies, which I don't do a lot of anymore. And there's a beading board tucked in that corner right there, again with all of my wrapping paper for holidays and birthdays and whatnot. So I just have all my wrapping paper stacked up there. What I'm going to do eventually, if I can ever remember to do it, is just buy a garbage can from the dollar store, you know, just kind of a small to medium sized garbage can that will kind of hold those and keep them from flopping all over the place. And then now we're up to the chifforobe, and you can see that was my participation in the big art quest. There's my pears, which I am going to paint again at the end of this year because I'm kind of on a watercolor art quest. I'm not doing an acrylic big art quest, but I'm doing the watercolor version of it. So I'm going to paint those pears again at the end of this year, and we'll see how they look. And at the top of that chifforobe is just some miscellaneous storage because this room does act as it doubles as storage for other purposes. So that's what you see on top of it there. And I don't know how I'm going to move the camera so that you can see inside the chifforobe, but I'm going to do my best. Okay, this is inside the chifforobe, and first I'm not sure how good the lighting is in this corner because it is very dark in this corner. So I apologize if the quality of this part of the video is not very good. It's just not very well lit right here, and there's not a lot I can do about it. But anyway, at the top row, what you see in that first container is just kind of like miscellaneous supplies. There's some floral stuff in there, some silk flowers, there's felt, there's just really all kinds of stuff in there. The next container over has all of my deco mesh wreath making ribbons and whatnot there, and then the excess rolls of deco mesh are just stacked on top. This corner here is the rest of my art supplies. I have my watercolor paints in there in the tubes, so I'm ready to refill my palette whenever necessary. Behind that is more let me see if I can move in closer for you. Okay, you still can't really see that very good, but there's more of those decorative edging scissors back there. I've got like 2 vegetable cans full that I again just used my decorative tape on, so if I ever have them on my desk, they're cute. And then cans of spray paint back there. Okay, in this container here is all of my resin casting supplies. So I have my resin, my molds, cork, just everything that I use for resin casting is in that container. This middle container has my bedazzler, which I am fixing to break out and start using in card making. Y'all just wait and see. I'm actually going to do it. I didn't use it as much as I thought I would for textiles, but I can really see using that thing for card making. And then some empty boxes. And then that container has my acrylic paints in it. And that is a Rikison palette that I'd gotten from Jerry's Artarimo that was broken, but they replaced it. But I saved it because I could still use portions of it for mixing acrylic paints on. I pulled my acrylic paints out to show you because this is a bit of organization and do-it-yourself that I was just really proud of because it worked out so good. What I did was took box lids. Let me see. Right there. Hopefully you can see that hole there. I took box lids and cut holes in them that are just big enough for that cap of that tube of paint to go through. So they hold up my paints like that, so whenever I'm ready to use them I don't have to shake real hard to get the last bit of paint to the cap so that I can use it. It keeps my acrylic paints ready to go. So I just have, these are the more enamel paints and these are more of the multi-purpose paints on this side, and I tried to organize them by color so they are to some degree. And then I have paint pens in this section, and then stirring sticks and whatnot. Those really should be in the resin supplies, but anyway, so this is my acrylic paint storage. And like I said, I was really proud of it. I was kind of impressed with myself for coming up with that little box lid business there. Is floral supplies and picture hanging supplies. And this drawer is sandpaper, composition notebook, loose leaf paper, some folders, stuff like that. Down at the bottom here is my yarn stash for my knitting. There's my Cricut. I'm fixing to get rid of it. It has so many problems. It's just gotten to be more of an aggravation to fool with. And then I just have some personal supplies down here. Down at the very end is some pictures because I kept telling myself I was going to start scrapbooking, and that never happened. I got interested in card making instead, and scrapbooking just went to the side. So that's just a lot of family pictures. And this isn't exactly craft room related, but I just wanted to point it out to you. I mean, it's kind of personal, but I don't know if you've seen the movie War Room with Priscilla Shirer, but it was a beautiful movie about the power of prayer and how it can affect lives. And my husband and I were so moved by that movie that we started constructing our own war room. And it's here in the craft room because, believe it or not, this is probably one of the quieter rooms in the house. But we have this bed, you know, the guest bed that's sitting right next to the shift robe. So we can come and sit in here together and pray, or we can come in here alone and pray. Close the door, and it's like we can kind of just shut the world off in here and come to the war room and bring it all to God. Well, that was my craft room, guys, and I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I hope you got some inspiration from the DIY projects that you saw I used. I mean, you know, it doesn't get much cheaper than repurposing shipping boxes and old milk crates. You know, the set of plastic drawers that you saw was something I bought when my 15-year-old son wasn't born yet. It's something that we had a much smaller house then and much more limited space and a much tighter budget, so I couldn't afford to go out and buy him, you know, a bedroom set or a dresser set. So I bought those plastic drawers before he was born to use to store his clothes in. Well, like I said, now he's 15. Still have the plastic drawers and now have repurposed them in my craft room for storage. So almost everything you saw in this video was free, secondhand, or just basically repurposed. I spent less than $50 organizing my craft room. and it can be done. Like I said, it might not be IKEA cute, you know, it might not be that white pristine craft room that you see, you know, on some YouTubers channels. That's not my craft room. My craft room is DIY. It's repurposed, it's recycled. It represents me. It represents me as a crafter, and it represents me as a person, and it functions well for me, and I'm very happy with it. But anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know how you like the video, and if you have some DIY ideas for craft room storage, please, please, please comment those below and help the members of my community who may be searching for some good ideas for craft room storage and organization. And if you would like to help support Janine's Craft Room and help me bring more content to you, there's going to be an iCard right about here that will link you to my homepage where you can make a donation to the fan funding site. I would appreciate it if you did so, but if you don't, it's okay. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching my videos because that supports me in so many, many ways. But anyway, you guys have a very blessed day. Bye now.